You could have been anywhere in the YouTube world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Welcome to Zay Reviews. And the biggest event in wrestling has come and gone. WrestleMania 38 is in the books. Saturday night was what it was. Sunday night was what it was. And we are here to talk about it. So let's run down each night. Let's run down each card. Let's talk about what went down on Saturday night first, and then we'll go into Sunday. So we kick off WrestleMania with the SmackDown Tag Team titles being on the line. We have the Usos defending the belts against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. The crowd, man, Dallas, Texas, shout out to Dallas, Texas. The crowd were really into both nights, but they were into this match, getting Shinsuke and Boogs over. However, Rick Boogs would sustain an injury in this match. Rick Boogs knee buckled while he had Jimmy in the fireman's carry. Jay jumped on top of both of them, and Boogs knee buckled. The match would come to an end though when Shinsuke Nakamura was in the ring with Jimmy. Jay would grab the back of Shinsuke's head, and when Shinsuke could not move, he could not block the super kick coming his way. 1, 2, 3. After the one and done, the Usos win. Next we get Happy Corbin versus Drew McIntyre. Pretty solid match, even for me. And you know I'm not the biggest fan of Corbin, but maybe I like this match because of the outcome. You know what I mean? Drew McIntyre won this match clean. Claymore kick to Happy Corbin, knocking his head smooth off. So during the match, Corbin did hit the end of days on Drew McIntyre. And when Drew McIntyre kicked out, commentary said that that was the first time that anybody has ever kicked out in the end of days. I think it's cap, but correct me if I'm wrong. Next, we get the Mysterios, Ray and Dominic, going up against the team of The Miz and Logan Paul. I ain't gonna hold you. See, we gotta stop down Logan Paul. He got in a boxing ring with Floyd Mayweather and held his own. You could speculate, you could say if it was like entertainment and how you could say whatever, but he rocked out in the ring with Mayweather. And honestly, going into this match, I wasn't too stoked about Logan Paul being involved at WrestleMania, but I hold you not, he held his own in this match. What I did not know is that Logan Paul had an amateur background in wrestling, so we saw a little bit of that in this match. He would pull out a running power slam, he would pull out a T-bone suplex, he would even do the Three Amigos, doing the whole Eddie Guerrero taunt. He even would hit the frog splash, and we thought that he would have thought that would have ended the match. That would have been crazy. But the match would come down to its end as the Mysterios were making their comeback, as they were getting the upper hand. The Miz would make a blind tag to Logan Paul. And as Ray would pin Logan off the 619, the Miz would attack Dominic, pick up Dominic, and slam Dominic on top of Ray to break up the pin. Then the Miz would hit the skull-crushing finale for the 1, 2, 3. And the team of the Miz and Logan Paul, they win this match. We get a post-match celebration with the two standing tall in the ring, but not for long, as the Miz would hit the skull-crushing finale on Logan Paul. So at the end of the day, the Miz stands tall and steals the spotlight from the social media star. What a way to end this match. What a Miz thing to do, you know what I'm saying? Why not take advantage of the moment, reminding the people that I'm the star. I don't care what Logan Paul does. I'm the Miz and I'm awesome. So I liked the match, and it was what it was. Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. Easily one of my favorite matches of the night. The two ladies went back and forth, putting it all out on the line. Both having a lot of close calls throughout, but it will ultimately come down to its end when Bianca Belair would hit the KOD on Becky Lynch. 1, 2, 3. Clean win for Bianca. She is the new Raw Women's Champion. She looked good with the all red, holding up the red belt. To be honest, Bianca Belair, she's up there in the conversation. When it comes to WWE's women's division, they have a lot of awesome talent, but they hold the 4 horsewomen up there since they are the pillars of that division. But you gotta put Bianca's name in there. You gotta put her name in that conversation. You might have to change that to 5, because Bianca Belair has been doing her thing, and they've been booking her awesomely ever since she came up from NXT. Next, we get Seth Rollins versus a mystery opponent. Seth Rollins comes out. He stands in the middle of the ring as he waits for his mystery opponent. The lights go out. It's pitch black in the arena. and all you hear, wrestling has more than one royal family. The crowd goes crazy, and then adrenaline in my soul. Holy shit, is Cody Rhodes. We called it, people. We called it. The mystery opponent was none other than Cody Rhodes, jumping ship from AEW to WWE, and he made his return on the grandest stage of them all. Now, I don't know if this match was long or that's how crazy it felt, but I want to say they went for about a good 15 minutes. Amazing match. We got a pedigree tease from Cody, which is pretty funny. Then Seth Rollins would actually hit the pedigree. If that would have been a finish in the match, that would have been nuts. But of course, the prodigal son has returned, and he gets the big victory. Cody would hit Crossroads twice in a row. Then he would stop to do a little dedication to his father, the late great Dusty Rhodes. He would hit the bionic elbow combination, and then he would hit Seth with one more Crossroads for the clean 1, 2, 3, and Cody wins. Never thought that we would see it, and if it would come, never thought that it would be this soon, but your boy is back in the WWE. And you know, after all this time that he spent in the indies and then developing his own company and building his stock, you know he's going straight to the moon. WWE would be goofy not to put the belt on him soon. Next, for the SmackDown Women's Championship, we have the winner of the Royal Rumble, Ronda Rousey, taking on the SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair. Ronda Rousey throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Charlotte. She done used up her whole moveset. She did an arm drag off the top rope. She pinned Charlotte at one point, but Charlotte's foot was on the rope. And the ref counted the 1, 2, 3 by mistake, but he realized at the last minute that Charlotte's foot was on the rope. This pissed Ronda off, distracting Ronda, and with the distraction, Charlotte with the big boot to the face, 1, 2, 3, and she pins Ronda clean. And you know what? I'm actually shocked this went down. This is only Ronda's third WrestleMania, and after winning her first and losing her second, I would have thought that they would have put the SmackDown Women's title on Ronda. I don't know, maybe she'll win a rematch down the line, but Charlotte retains. Charlotte gets another WrestleMania win. And this isn't the first time this happened, because back at 34, I thought that Asuka was gonna beat Charlotte, but Charlotte won. And the same thing with this match. It was shocking to me, but a big win for Charlotte Flair. And now the main event of night one, the Kevin Owens show, with special guest Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Kevin Owens comes out, he gets the cheap heat, he starts talking mess about Dallas, Texas, and not too long we hear that good old glass shatter. And for me, it was super nostalgic. Whenever Stone Cold comes back up, it's always a good time. Whatever capacity that we get Stone Cold Steve Austin, it is always a thrill. So he comes down to the ring in the ATV, gets in the ring, both sit down, takes to the microphone, and it turns out that not too long after a little back and forth arguing with Kevin Owens talking mess about Texas and Steve Austin saying, "Hey yo, relax, you gotta chill with the trash talk about Texas." But then Kevin Owens flips the script. He goes, "Stone Cold, I actually didn't bring you out here to talk. I actually brought you out here to fight. So do you still have what it takes? Do you want to dust off the boots? Do you want to get back in the ring?" And Stone Cold picks up the microphone and goes, "If you all want to see me kick this Shaka at WrestleMania, give me a hell yeah." And the crowd, of course, with the resounding hell yeah. So then we get a match. We get Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens. This blew my mind. I would have never thought that I would see these two guys go at it, let alone Stone Cold being in a match at all. At all. It's literally been 20 years ever since Stone Cold wrestled. I was high-key nervous throughout this match, but they went a solid 15 minutes. Stone Cold took a few bumps. He took a suplex on the ring side. He took a suplex on the stage. He took a suplex out into the crowd. They went all over the place. But Stone Cold walking brawl, punching kicks here, suplex there. He threw Kevin Owens into a table at one point, but the match would come down to its end, in the most classic way possible. Kevin Owens uses the stunner as well, so he tries to stunner Stone Cold and beat Stone Cold with his own move, but you know that's not gonna happen. Stone Cold stunner to Kevin Owens, 1, 2, 3. We get that classic Stone Cold finish. Beer spilled everywhere, beer bath everywhere, and that's how we close out night 1. And that warmed my heart. I feel for all the people out there in Dallas, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Imagine seeing that live. You would have never thought that you would see Stone Cold Steve Austin live. Not in this era of pro wrestling. So it was nice to see Stone Cold. It was fun to see Stone Cold. Now let's slide over into night 2. And similar to night 1, we start off with a tag team championship match. The Raw tag team titles are on the line as RK Bro defends the belts against Alpha Academy and the Street Profits. Great tag team chemistry throughout, with all teams being involved. Triple threat rules, so you know everybody was fighting all over the place, but it will come down to an end. As when Montez Ford was going to attempt to hit the From the Heavens Frog Splash on Randy Orton, your boy Matt Riddle would come from out of nowhere and jump up on the rope and RKO Montez Ford off the top rope. The crowd went nuts. And then as Chad Gable was going to attempt to hit a splash on Matt Riddle, as he was knocked out from hitting that RKO off the top rope, Chad Gable would be intercepted by Randy Orton himself. He hits the RKO interception. 1, 2, 3, and your boys, rated RKO, still the Raw Tag Team Champions. We get a post-match celebration as the Street Profits. With a little sign of respect to the RK Bro, they pull out the red Solo cups and they start pouring up. But before they make a toast, they stop to invite Gable Steveson, who is sitting ringside, the Olympian who one day will join Raw. They invite him in the ring, he comes in, and they pour him up as well. But before they make a toast, Chad Gable runs in the ring, he interrupts the fun, and he slaps the cup out of Gable's hand. So this pisses Gable Steveson off. He takes his shirt off, and we get the Gable versus Gable face-off that I didn't know we were going to see this soon. And as Chad Gable is doing that whole annoying shoosh thing, all he gets for his troubles is a crazy belly-to-belly suplex, which impressed the crowd. Everybody went crazy. And we get a little preview of Gable Steveson. Next, we get the one-on-one encounter between Bobby Lashley and the giant Omas. We had the irresistible force going up against the unmovable object. We did get the craziest scare. At one point, Omas picked up Bobby Lashley and threw him up against a turnbuckle, but there was a little whiplash, and Lashley's head, the back of Lashley's head, smacked against the turnbuckle post, and it looked nasty. But the match will come down to its end when Lashley would hit 2 spears, one to the lower spine of Omas, and then another one to the front, clean spear, 1, 2, 3, and Lashley wins. Next, we get the one-on-one match between Sami Zayn and Jackass's Johnny Knoxville. Now, of course, in this match, we get tons and tons of Jackass antics. We even get the involvement of Chris Pontius. He comes out, he does the, naked dancing man thing, distraction to Sami Zayn, trying to help Johnny Knoxville win. I don't know how. It was just the weirdest thing, man. It was just the weirdest thing, but classic Jackass nonsense. We also get an interference from Wee Man. Wee Man started boxing on Sami Zayn. He just hopped out from under the ring, started boxing on Sami Zayn. Everybody started going crazy, like, yo, that's Wee Man. He had on a shirt that said Wee Mania. He hit Sami Zayn with the cleanest scoop slam. The crowd went crazy. There was even a spot where we had like the giant hand that came out of nowhere and smacked Sami Zayn. We even had a pyrotechnic botch, like when Sami Zayn tried to hop off the top rope. The pyro went off and knocked him off the top rope. Johnny had this like wound up little mechanic thing. It was like this boot that he used to kick Sami Zayn in the nuts. There was this table with a bunch of mouse traps on it, which was crazy. That spot was insane. But the match would come down to its end when Sami Zayn would get slapped down with the huge mouse trap. This all sounds crazy. I know for you guys who haven't watched WrestleMania, I know you're like, yo, what is he talking about? This all sounds nuts. But this is all what happened in the match. and it led to Johnny Knoxville's victory. And of course, listen, celebs don't lose their matches. Johnny Knoxville wins this. Of course, Johnny Knoxville wins this. After that, we get the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Team Championship match. We have Shayna Baszler and Natalya. We have the team of Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. We have the team of Sasha Banks and Naomi. And we have the Women's Tag Team Champions, Carmella and Queen Zelina Vega. Fatal 4-Way antics, everybody's fighting, but we get the match ending when we have this wonderful double team move from Naomi and Sasha Banks that they would hit on Carmella for the 1, 2, 3. And our ladies, man, Sasha Banks, Naomi, new women's tag team champions. They hold up the belts high. I'm happy that they are the new women's tag team champions, and I hope they have a nice lengthy run. Next, we get Edge versus AJ Styles in a certified classic. Edge hitting the spear, AJ Styles kicking out, Styles hitting, the Styles clash, and Edge kicking out. It was a certified classic. But the match will come down to its end when we get this odd distraction from Damian Priest. Damian Priest comes out ringside dressed in all black. He stands to the ringside and he just stares out at AJ Styles. This distracts AJ for a moment as AJ goes up for the phenomenal forearm. Edge will reverse and hit the spear. 1, 2, 3, Edge beats AJ Styles. Afterwards, Edge takes a knee and Damian takes a knee along with him. They both stare at each other, both stand tall afterwards, and they raise both their arms. So it looks like that Edge is starting this new team with Damian Priest. And I guess it goes with this new dark and, no pun intended, edgy gimmick that Edge has. So now that Damian and Edge are a team, I wonder if he's going to recruit more people or is it just going to be them two? We'll see in the near future, but Edge does get this win. Next, we get the tag team match of the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, going up against Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Now, this match was the shortest match of the weekend. It was only 5 minutes. It was real quick. My takeaway of this match was the fit that Xavier and Kofi were rocking. A little dedication to Big E with the singlet, with the jacket over it. But this match will come down to its quick ending when Ridge Holland would hit Northern Grit on Xavier Woods, and we get the 1, 2, 3. Immediately after the bell, Butch runs in and gets a couple of hits up on Xavier. Sheamus and Ridge had to hold him back, and we get the quick ending to that. I don't know if this rivalry is still going to go, but if this is the ending for that, please let it be that and give all these guys something else to do. Next, we get one of my favorite matches of the weekend, no lie, but we get Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Now, I saw Pat's match with Adam Cole that he had last year. Also, I saw when he participated in the War Games match in NXT, so I am familiar with Pat. I know that he could rock out in the ring. Your boy was pulling off swanton bombs. Your boy was pulling off clean superplexes off the top rope. Pat McAfee was going crazy. Austin Theory would gain the upper hand, and right when you thought Austin was going to win the match, he had Pat up in a fireman's carry, and you thought he was going to go for that A-Town down finisher, but Pat would reverse with a roll-up, and he would get the quick 1, 2, 3 pin, and the crowd went crazy. The crowd was 1000% on Pat McAfee's side. So Pat is celebrating in the ring. He's having the time in his life. He pulled off one of the biggest victories in his life. He has won at WrestleMania. But as he's celebrating, Vince McMahon, you know, he was ringside during the match. He comes to Austin's aid. You know, that's his little golden boy. So he wanted to check up on his investment, wanted to see how he was feeling. And Pat was looking at Vince. He was like, yo, dude, do you feel some type of way? Are you upset that I defeated your boy on your grand stage? If you feel some type of way, get in the ring, Vince. Come on, you and me, let's go. So then Vince McMahon begins to take off his shirt, take off the tie, take off the jacket. I'm like, there's no way we're about to get a Vince McMahon match in 2022. But then referee Rudy Charles gets in the ring. And then my TNA brain starts going nuts because I'm like, wait, not only am I about to watch a Vince McMahon match, it's about to be refereed by a former TNA referee. What is going on right now? This is like pro wrestling Twilight Zone. But then we get the match, Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee. And yeah, of course, There were shenanigans all across the board. After Austin Theory's involvement, he would drag Pat McAfee right into the ring post, and Pat would hit his nuts, completely taking him out. Vince McMahon would take a Dallas Cowboys football and would punt it into the gut of Pat McAfee for the 1-2-3, and we get a Vince McMahon victory at WrestleMania. So Pat McAfee has won at WrestleMania, and he also has lost at WrestleMania. What a crazy night for this guy. You get the post-match celebration from Vince. Austin Theory celebrates with him in the ring. It's just a disgusting act. Michael Cole is overselling, saying this is just horrible. And then out of nowhere, we get the glass shatter, and Stone Cold Steve Austin returns. He comes back out for night 2. He stuns Austin Theory, and the next thing you thought he was gonna stunner Vince McMahon. But instead, he decided to offer Vince a beer. The two share a beer in the ring, but you already know you can't trust Austin. And as Vince goes to go for the sip of the beer, Austin goes to stunner Vince, and it was the worst stunner ever. Vince stumbled. Austin had to got him back into his arms. And it's crazy because Vince has been stunned so many times, but I guess it's been 20 years. Oh, it hasn't actually been 20 years. I know he got stunned a few years ago, but whatever. It could have been done better, but both of these guys are up here. We all just having a good time. So Austin's laughing it off. He's on the turnbuckle just drinking all his beer. You know, classic Stone Cold. Pat McAfee gets back in the ring. The chaos isn't over. We get the celebration from both Pat and Austin. They're pouring up beers. And Austin stuns Pat. And then Austin's by himself in the ring drinking more beer. There's beer everywhere. It's just a huge mess. My favorite shot of the night is we get Pat McAfee at ringside just drowning in the booze. It was just, you could tell that Pat had the time of his life last night. And then we get the main event of night 2, the main event of the weekend, and apparently the biggest WrestleMania match of all time. Title for title, champion versus champion. We have the WWE champion Brock Lesnar taking on the Universal champion Roman Reigns. And after failed attempt after failed attempt, after taking the L at WrestleMania 31 and taking the L at WrestleMania 34 to the L's that he took at Hell in a Cell and Crown Jewel, we've seen Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns fight a few times at this point. They can only have one kind of match. Big heavy moves, suplex city from Brock, specials and signatures from Roman Reigns until it's time to decide it. And after that last spear, that was it. Roman Reigns standing tall with both championships, and we have a new undisputed champion, the return of the undisputed championship, and it is amazing to see once again. Now that was my review of WrestleMania 38, a solid event. A good mix of pro wrestling, a good mix of sports entertainment. I would say that my 3 favorite matches of the night were Becky and Bianca, Cody and Seth Rollins, and Pat versus Austin Theory. I didn't like Brock versus Roman as much as I thought I would. It just made me realize that they could just truly have only one kind of match. And whenever we see them two together, it is what it is, and we're going to get what we're going to get with them. Hopefully, we don't see them go against each other for a very long time. And yeah, it was a solid WrestleMania. And that's all I got to say about that. So thank you for tapping into the channel once again. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on, engage, people. Until next time, peace.